to you by Southern Oak Insurance. The Orlando Magic Detroit Pistons series is headed to Game 6 after the Pistons outlasted the Magic in Game 5, 116-109. Tonight, the Magic will look for one more win to advance to the next round, tipping off at 7 p.m. on 92.5 FM. It's 85 degrees at 3:59. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Frank, Hayes, and JJ. Hit it! It's time for the Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Glad we welcome you in. Glad you're along for this Friday installment of the program. Our Friday is always brought to you by our friends at Big Chief, and today's new drug is a Rumble.
That's right.
You never can go wrong with the Rumble. We get to do a handful of Rumbles over the course of the year, and this is a really big Rumble. I'll tell you how even these two teams are. UNF overall is 24-19. JU overall is 25-18. UNF and the Atlantic Sun is 15-6, first place in the graphite. JU 12-9, second place in the graphite, 3 games back. These are the two of the best teams in the league. Their overall records are about identical. Their league records are both very good. Tonight, 3-game series. Now, I will tell you, the last time they played, it was at JU, and UNF laid it to them. I mean, UNF went over there to Session Stadium and had their way with JU. 3 comfortable kind of blowout wins in this series. I don't know what Chris Hayes said on Sunday night. He'll never tell us. Or Monday morning, or Sunday night well into Monday morning. But since that game, JU responded by 2 days later beating Florida in Gainesville, one of 2 times they did it, and they've gone 14-2 since. So UNF has stayed hot. They've been good all year. They didn't need a streak. They've been good all year. So UNF good all year, JU really hot now. This might be as good a Rumble baseball style we've seen in a long time. If you love college baseball, shame on you if you're not headed out to Harmon Stadium this weekend.
Yeah, and again, tonight's game starts at 7:05, Saturday at 6:05 tomorrow night. Again, we'll ask Joe about weather, and we know sometimes they have to move stuff around, but hopefully they'll be able to get it in tomorrow night at 6:05, and then Sunday it's scheduled for 1:05. And, yeah, I mean, JU needs to do what UNF was able to do in late March, get a road sweep so that they can even things up in the ASUN standings. But the Ospreys outscored them 27-12 over that 3-game stretch. So they were very dominant. JU will certainly have revenge on its mind. But, look, UNF should, Joe talked about complacency the last time he joined us when Florida State was in town. And UNF, I believe, has lost 3 of their last 4. So I'm sure that they're plenty ornery coming into tonight. So I would think 2 teams with, the proverbial chip on the shoulder for different reasons.
Yeah, UNF has. They've actually lost 4 or 5, but that's an outlier. They haven't done that very often. One of those 4 were the last game against Stetson after they had already won the series. One of them was against Florida State, who's very good, and then they lost 2 of the 3 at Gulf Coast. But they've had a good year. The Ospreys have been legit. And again, they're in first place in the Graphite Division, JU right behind them. So, and again, identical records almost overall. So this is 2 good baseball teams. Can't wait to watch it tonight. Again, tonight, and let me tell you let me expound a little bit on what Hayes said about weather. Typically in college baseball, you'll move a series, you'll move games up, back, you'll play a doubleheader, whatever based on the weather. A lot of times if, let's say weather's coming on a Sunday, and you would have your scheduled Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you'll play the doubleheader on Saturday. A lot of times if rain's coming on the afternoon on Saturday, you'll move the games up. Instead of 6, you'll play at noon. This one's weird. You and I were talking about the weather report before we came on. It looks like probably clear tonight. There's some scattered showers perhaps, but for the most part, they're going to get it in tonight. Tomorrow, the rain really, the forecast looks like it's really heavy about noon or 1. That's when it's really going to hit. You almost hope that you move nothing and hope it blows through. Now, it's supposed to rain all weekend after that, but if it blows through, you might want to keep that 6:05 start right where it is. And by the way, this gorgeous new turf field will make it easier to go play the minute the rain stops. As long as there's lightning if lightning's not in the area, the minute the rain stops, you play on this beautiful turf field. So my guess is they leave the times alone and see what winds up happening. So we'll certainly ask Joe Mkodante that as he comes up. At 5:15 today, as Hayes told Lauren and Taylor and Tom during the handoff that our schedule a little bit different. Joe had to go a little later because the game starts a little later. So Pete was kind enough to go a little earlier. So Pete Prisco coming up in about 5 minutes. We'll talk a little bit about the draft with him. A lot of things to get to today on the program. I am, again, don't watch the NBA very much. RJ, how surprised were you at the Knicks-Hawks game, or at least the Knicks-Hawks first half? Did that shock you like it seemed the rest of the NBA world?
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt. I mean, you're thinking that this Atlanta Hawks team, who had given a great fight over the first few games of the series before, it seemed to me that the New York Knicks decided to say, listen, just overall, we're the better team. Let's start acting like it. You would think that in a game in which you're trying to extend the series, you wouldn't come out with such a dud. So it did surprise me that the Knicks got out to that much of a head start, and really didn't look back after that. But I didn't think the Hawks would give out that kind of an effort. But the Knicks, without question, were a better team. They were supposed to win this series.
They were up 47 at the half.
Yeah, it was 83-36
at the half.
I've never seen anything like it.
I haven't either.
The first time I checked the score, we were getting ready to watch the Celtics, and so I was trying to see if the Celtics game had started because we were watching something else. And then I saw on ESPN.com the Knicks score. It was 72-22 when I checked it. I was like, this can't be right. This has to be like
70,
so it was one of those
in an
things
NBA game.
So then I click on the box score because I'm like, this can't be right. This must be some sort of glitch on the site. And sure enough, it was 72-22 and ended up being 140-89 by the time it was all said and done.
I thought so. I'm going to talk about the routes that stand out to you the most as a sports fan.
Hello, Tommy Frazier.
There's that's one of the ones I wrote down. That's one of the negative routes. Hello, Jimmy Johnson and Dan Marino for the positive routes. So I wrote a bunch of them down. So we'll certainly talk about the routes that stand out the most to us as sports fans. So we'll certainly cover that coming up today on the program. I'll tell you what. I'm probably a bit of a golf homer, but I'm now convinced there is something I asked Lee Smith this yesterday. I'm now convinced there is something to this. If you tame the stadium course, good luck someone getting you after that. The last 2 years up until this year, the winners of the players went on to win the Masters, as everybody knows, Scheffler and Rory. This year, Cam Young, after winning the players, didn't win the Masters, but was right there. And has lit it up. He is 12 under now. He's 4 clear of the field. At some point, it's not a mirage anymore that these guys that play well here, maybe it's because they're doing it in front of their peers because that's the players' tournament. Maybe it's because the course is very hard and there's some really hard holes and you have tamed that. Maybe it's because it is the 5th major, as you and I always talk about. It's the most important golf tournament in the world. It's not a major, and frankly, it might be more important than the PGA and whatnot. But there's something to that, Hayes. Cam Young now, look out the rest of the year, including this tournament.
Well, the Players' Championship, again, has everything that you would want in a major test. It's you talk about all the water on the final 3 holes. The entire course has water, but certainly 16, the Island Green, and then the tee shot on 18 is one of the tougher finishing holes on the entire PGA Tour circuit. So you've got that. You've got a stadium course build so that the pressure is immense because there are so many thousands of people that are watching you, and obviously the stakes are so high. So there's nothing that another major can throw from all those elements that surpasses the Players' Championship in terms of how the tournament finishes, the water that's in play, the prestige of the event, what it means to your career, and the amount of people that are right on top of you watching every shot that you take. So, I think it makes perfect sense. And it's nothing new. Justin Thomas has won the Players' Championship. It's got – we've certainly had in 20 years ago, you would see Stephen Ames and – Tim Clark and Fred Funk won it, and which was a great story, but came out of nowhere to win it. It doesn't. It seems like this new generation of player really embraced, whether it was the video game influence, whether it was just the Players' Championship getting more prestigious in their lifetime. But this generation of player, they know exactly how to attack it. There's not a lot of hubris involved. There isn't a lot of, hey, I'm just going to bomb it and I'll show, Pete die. This generation has learned you can't do that.
Right.
If you take that approach, you're just going to throw away your first 3 or 4 starts at the Players Championship. But if you learn how to attack it, then it gives you a great advantage. And I think these elite players, before the elite players sort of thumb their nose at it, and which opened the door for the guys that weren't as good but knew how to play it. Now the elite players really take it seriously. How do I play this course on an intelligent level? And that, coupled with their elite talent, has led to fantastic champions.
And more granular, I agree with what you said, in a more granular level, the elite players are all bombers nowadays. It used to be Corey Pavin could hang around with the elite players, even though he was 30 yards behind them. That day's over. But all the elite players can bomb it now. So, to your point, they've learned they don't have to. They've learned they can run around that thing with 3 wood and still win the Players' Championship. But the bottom line is, if you win the Players, look out. Good luck beating you down the road. So certainly we've seen that with Cam Young. All right, a lot of things to get to today. I got some college football, too, involving all of our teams we'll talk about. We'll prepare you for the Rumble. Joe Mkodante at 5:15. Looking forward to that. A lot of fun stuff to do on a Friday. Always brought to you by our friends at Big Chief Tire Company. Always a Big Chief Tire Friday here with 6 locations on the First Coast. We'll take a break. We come back. Pete Prisco checks in. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Bring it in. 2, 4, 6, 8. We appreciate it. 2 more. Yeah.
1010XL. Duval Sports Radio.
Nice job.
What if the next roof you put on your home was the last one? Not another replacement in 15 or 20 years, the last roof. Metlock Roofing is Florida's only manufacturer and installer of this exclusive roofing system. Engineered for strength, built for Florida weather, backed by a lifetime warranty. Imagine never needing another roof. Call 938-9933 or visit metlokroofing.com. Get your last roof today with Metlock. License number CCC 1335581.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Some plumbing companies say they're local, right up until you realize their headquarters are in New York City. At Hall & Sons Plumbing, we're actually from here. Born, raised, and fixing leaks right here in Jacksonville. Hall & Sons Plumbing. Local. Family. Real.
PGA Tour star Ricky Fowler.
If you want to be the best, you have to practice with the best. That's why I had Southwest Greens install and maintain my putting green, and my synthetic lawn, and my chipping area, and my practice bunker area, and my bocce ball court, and our pole vaulting area.
Southwest Greens is the world's premier manufacturer and installer of putting greens, synthetic grass, chipping areas, practice bunkers, and just about anything else you want to do in your yard.
It's Southwest Greens.
Log on to southwestgreensofjacksonville.com to see what they can do to your backyard.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists congratulate the 1010XL Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Georgia Wickers, senior track and field athlete at Atlantic Coast High. Georgia holds the pole vault school record for girls and is the Director of Communications for the National Honor Society.
Yo, E.T. here. And you know that on the field preparation wins championships, right? Well, the same goes for your health. Right here in my side of town in Fleming Island, Encore Research Group is helping locals take charge through cutting-edge research studies. Everything from weight loss to diabetes and hypertension. Their team of local, multi-specialty doctors is focused on advancing medicine and keeping our community healthy. If you want to see if you qualify, check them out at encoredocs.com.
Feel a vibration in your steering wheel at highway speeds? That's not something to ignore, and a standard tire balance might not fix it. At G&H Tires and Service, they offer Road Force Balancing, an advanced system that simulates how your tire actually performs on the road to detect hidden issues. It goes beyond traditional balancing to reduce vibration, improve handling, and extend the life of your tires. Newer vehicles, especially with low-profile tires, demand this level of precision. Drive smoother. G&H Tires and Service on Beach Boulevard, where your ride gets dialed in right.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. What's better than beer? Cold beer. Put your company logo on a custom koozie. Check them out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Looking for an exciting, fun-filled evening your whole group can enjoy? Discover the thrill of indoor football. Fast-paced, action-packed, and full of family fun. Be there as your Sharks take on the New Mexico Chupacabras Saturday, May 2nd at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Kickoff, 7 o'clock. Don't miss the action-packed halftime performance by Showtime USA. Ask about our family 4-packs. 4 tickets and $50 in food vouchers, all for only $100. To purchase tickets, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700. It's Education Appreciation Night, presented by the University of North Florida. All teachers, administrators, and school staff get our special buy one, get one free ticket deal. Join us on the field after the game for our free autograph session, sponsored by Flight Adventure Park. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours today at 621-0700. That's 621-0700. Sharks football, where memories are made.
Go Sharks!
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account. When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything. Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Time for all things Jaguars and NFL with Pete Prisco. The Prisco Report, presented by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Showtime.
On the Frangie Show.
And we thank our friends from Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Do remind you now, they're the best collectible store around on Phillips Highway, Dennis-Shad Road. Head over there today, man. And no matter who it is you root for, they've got stuff for your team. The best collectible store you'll ever visit. Big and spacious and really nice people. Head to Showtime today. Frank Frangie, Hayes Carline on location here at UNF as the UNF Ospreys play host to the JU Dolphins later on in a 3-game baseball set starting tonight. Meanwhile, let's talk a little draft. My buddy Pete Prisco checks in. Pete, how does your consensus board look these days, bro?
Oh, my God, that whole thing, man. You know, I actually think I might have started that whole mess the other day, by the way, because I sent out a tweet saying something about, come on, are we really going to base stuff on the consensus board? And all the, consensus board guys went nuts. And here's the thing. If I took a group of 6th graders and I had them do a board of 1 through 32, ranking the top players that they felt in the draft, and there were 60 of them in there, and they gave me the things, and I came to a consensus. Would that be a good consensus board?
Pete,
that's basically what it is.
Yeah, and I've said this. I applaud whether it's Dane Brugler, Kuiper, McShay, whoever, for making a living doing this. They work hard at it. They make a living, and good on them for finding a way to do it. We've all found a way to make a living in sports, right? Those of us in this industry. So I applaud them. But for people to think that they're right necessarily and that these experienced football people are wrong necessarily, isn't that the craziest part? I mean, look, I don't know if the Jaguars got them all right, but I know the only report card we have is 13 wins for this regime, right? I guess that's the part that puzzled me about all of it. I'm serious about this. I never remember the consensus board talk being as rampant as it was this year.
Okay, I'm going to give you an example. Look, at Dane Brugler and Mel Kiper and everything, those are the guys on the even they're on the consensus board, but they're not. I mean, there's 40 other people that I've never even heard of on that board.
Right.
And so, by the way, how many times do we realize that people do the consensus board based on what the other people in the consensus do?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if I see if Mel Kiper has this guy ranked 10th, and I really believe he's ranked 35th. Then then they go back and they go, oh, I'm going to move to the 10th too. And that's basically how you get to a consensus board. And so, look, I respect everybody who does the work, but let's be real. The consensus board doesn't take into account how you fit into a team. It doesn't take into account your off-the-field stuff because the majority of those guys don't hear that stuff. It doesn't take into account injury stuff. It doesn't take into account a lot of things. So, look, I love the work. I love the more the merrier. I'm all for it. But just because somebody picks above or beyond the consensus board, and by the way, I've gone against that consensus board a lot in my career. Sometimes I've been right, and sometimes I've been wrong.
Having said all that, what did you think of the Jags 10-man class? What did you think of the Jags draft?
Okay, let me start with the tight end first and foremost. He was on my better than team. I loved him. He's a physical kid. He can block. He's a much better receiver than people give him credit for. He had played 22 targets and 19 catches. I mean, it wasn't like it was 45 targets and 19 catches. He was productive when they threw him the football, and they didn't do a very good job of throwing him the football. So he might end up being one of the better steals in this draft. And by the way, there were teams behind him that wanted him. There were a lot of people around the league that were in on that kid as a tight end. So I love that pick. You know, the third round pick, the Regis kid, good player. You know, maybe a little high for my liking, but we'll see. You know, the fifth round tight end, I loved him. He was on my better than team. They took two of them. The two tight ends I had on my better than team, they took both of them. So, you know, the safety, would I've gone in a little different direction? Maybe, because, you know, that's quite frankly a pick for down the road. But all in all, I think it was a solid draft. It wasn't a great draft on paper, but we don't know until 3 years out. But anybody who's pinging them for that tight end, they're misguided.
Pete, I saw you had a chance to catch up with Josh Hines-Allen. What'd you take out of that interview?
Well, he's a great kid. I mean, he really is, and he wants to win. You can tell he wants to be hungry. I mean, he made a couple comments. He said, you know, he'd love to have Travis Hunter on his side of the ball only, but I don't think that's going to be the case. He was raving about him as a corner, you know, because I did that show with Logan Ryan, who played corner, and you know, he basically told him this is what he can do, and he's just such an athletic wonder when you watch him on the practice field. He raved about Trevor Lawrence. He raved about Liam Cohen, too. I mean, the way he got everybody to buy in and what he's doing now to buy it back in again. And so, look, I still think Josh Hines-Allen and that defense needs to take the next step, not necessarily him, but they need to start getting that quarterback on the ground in key situations. They know it, and I think that's going to be the focus of the offseason, is getting that quarterback on the ground.
Let me follow up to Hayes' question, your interview with him. You know what I really liked in that interview when he talked about Trevor? Everybody's always said Trevor's a wonderful talent, got the big arm and athletic as heck, and a great kid, and he's both. He's a good dude, and he's a wonderful talent. But I love the fact that Josh took it to his toughness and called him a dog and said he's a competitor, and he's a fighter, and he's a brawler. People haven't said that enough about. I think Trevor is that. I think that's an accurate assessment, Pete. But we haven't said that enough. I thought that was cool that Josh said, apart from wonderfully talented and nice to everybody off the field, this guy's a dog and a baller. I love that comment about Trevor. We haven't heard that enough, and I think it's very true.
Yeah, and not only that, you know, the whole idea that he wasn't putting the work in, and Josh goes, well, wait a second. I'm usually the first one in here. When I get in there, I look over, and who's in there? It's him. You know, so two things on him were that he didn't have the fire in the belly, which isn't true, like you just heard from Josh Allen, and that he doesn't put the work in. He's the first guy in there, and Josh said that. So, you know, the other day they had that DJ out there, and you noticed Josh Allen wasn't in there, and one of the reasons he wasn't in there was because he was in there already in the building. So I love guys who work, and I think Trevor kind of got a bad reputation from that, as both being laid back and not really caring, and two, being a guy who doesn't put the work in. And I think that's whether, you know, whatever he was earlier in his career, that has all flipped. He's all in right now, and they look to him in key situations.
Pete, I saw you have the Jaguars fifth in your post-draft power poll. What went into that ranking?
I just think I told Josh Allen this, and I think they believed it too. I think they beat Buffalo. They win the next two and get to the Super Bowl, lose to Seattle. I thought they were one of the better teams in the AFC by the end of the year. They showed that at Denver. They beat that team up at Denver. So, and the whole idea that they didn't get any better. Well, you're getting a cover corner who's going to be one of the better corners in the league on the field. You didn't have that last year. You get Ransaw back at safety. You saw what happened when they played teams with tight ends, and they had problems with those guys. Wingard had problems covering tight ends. Well, you get an athletic safety back. That changes your secondary. Now you got competition at the nickelback with Jarian Jones and Jordan Lewis. That those two will elevate the game. And you know, then I looked over and I think, okay, did they really suffer losses in free agency? In my book, those guys were good players. Devin Lloyd, good player, but not good enough to pay him to keep him. You know, Etienne was a good player. Did he run well between the tackles? No. Look at their numbers between the tackles. They weren't very good. So I think they're going to be a better team, and that's not counting in guys growing, young players growing, and that's what happens when you have a young football team. So I think they're going to be a better team than they were a year ago. Now, whether they win as many games, that's going to be tough to do, but they're going to be a better football team by the end of the year than they were at the end of the year this year.
Pete, now that the hay's in the barn, so to speak, with all these teams, I mean, you might pick up a free agent post-June 1 here or there, but for the most part, these rosters are their rosters. Let's go around a little bit. First the division, then the conference, in the league. Let's start with the division. How do you think the Texans, Titans, Colts did in the draft, and how do you feel about the big picture of their rosters?
I thought the Texans had a really good first 2 rounds. I love what they did. I mean, you talk about a tough team getting tougher. They got tougher. You had Rutledge, who, by the way, I pegged to them. I had him in the first round go to the Texans. I was one of the few guys that actually had that guy in the first round. And he is a nasty, nasty, violent player. I think that's great for the Texans' offensive line. Then they come back in the second round and get a big, power, nasty defensive tackle. So a team that is known for its toughness got tougher and stronger and more powerful. And so that's a bad thing for the Jaguars. But their whole season is going to be decided by the quarterback. What are you getting from that guy? Are you getting a guy that we saw a couple years ago, or are you getting the guy you saw at the end of last year? And that's the question that you don't know about them. So I still think they're going to be pushing the Jaguars all year in that division. I think the Colts, look, if you buy into Daniel Jones coming off an injury, okay. But they have some major questions as well. And I think the Titans are a year away from actually competing, in the division. But getting the receiver is big for them. But you picked them 4th overall. And Tate's a good player. But when you pick a wide receiver 4th overall, you better hope he's Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson or in that class, and I'm not sure he is. So I still think the division is Jacksonville 1, Texans 2, and they're going to be neck and neck. Wouldn't surprise me if they flip-flop that. And then the Colts 3 and the Titans 4.
Do you think the Dolphins, who are clearly rebuilding and probably, I would think, the favorite to have the first pick in 2027, do you think we could see them continue the fire sale over the summer? Could there be some, whether it's Achane or Seiler or any guys like that, or do you think that they're going to sit tight now?
No, I think Achane's going to get the contract extension. They want to keep him. He's going to be a foundation piece, so he's not going anywhere. Now, Seiler, I think, they might say, hey, look, we'll pedal him around and see if anybody wants him, but Seiler didn't play that well last year. He wasn't as good, and so that complicates it a little bit, but I would think that they would, explore that, and teams would probably call on that and want a defensive tackle. I love what the Dolphins did in the draft, by the way. I think they knocked it out of the park. They had 13 picks. They had a ton of picks, so they were able to maneuver and get guys. And they get, the big offensive lineman from Alabama, Proctor, in the first round. He's going to play guard right away, but ultimately he'll be a tackle, a right tackle, because they got a good left tackle. So all of a sudden, the left side of their offensive line, Proctor and Patrick Paul, you're good over there. They get Rodriguez, who's going to be on the field for the next 8-9 years, and they plays all over the place at linebacker. And they just kept loading up. Caleb Douglas, a receiver out of Texas Tech, who people, by the way, the consensus board panned them by taking that kid. That's just crazy. He's one of the most underrated players in the draft, and there were teams around the league that loved Caleb Douglas. So I think Miami had a great draft. I think they're doing it the right way. Tear it down, build it back up, and go from there.
I hated when Florida lost Caleb Douglas. I agree with you. I thought he was going to be special. And the next thing you know, he's at Texas Tech, started out his career as a Gator. Around the conference. Now, same question I asked you about the division. Bills the team to beat still in your mind? What did the conference do in the draft, and how did they change places in your power poll based on that?
Yeah, I think the Bills are the team to beat. You blow a game at Denver, otherwise you probably go to New England and you're at the Super Bowl last year, and maybe you even win it. If Josh Allen gets loose and gets to be able to do what he does. I think the change in the staff is big for them. I had nothing but utmost respect for Sean McDermott. I think he did a great job, but it got stale. They got tight in the key moments, and now you bring in Joe Brady. He's going to let Josh Allen be more like Josh Allen. Jim Leonard is one heck of a defensive coach. They're changing defensive styles. I think they're going to be more aggressive. They play more man. And I think their draft kind of reflected the newness of that building. So I did like their draft. I think they're the best team. But, you look out west, Denver, there's some concern with the Knicks ankle. He's got to go get some cleanup procedure on that ankle. That was something that bothered him in college. That could be chronic. That's a concern. I do like what the Chargers have done. The Chargers, with Mike McDaniel was a bad head coach. Mike McDaniel is going to be a great offensive coordinator again, and they're going to run the ball and be physical, and they've added that. I mean, Slaughter, they drafted out of your school, Florida. He's going to play center at some point. This year he might play guard. They get their tackles back. Marion Hampton's going to have an enormous year for them running the football. I really like what the Chargers did. And then the Chiefs. When is Mahomes back is the key question. They say he's ahead of schedule. He'll be back for opening day. Will he be Mahomes? How long will it take? But the reality is in the meantime, what do? You get Delane, the corner, who's the number one corner in the draft. You get, Woods, I told you I loved as a defensive tackle out of Clemson. And then you come back and get the guy I loved as much as anybody rushing the passer, R. Mason Thomas. So bing, 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 all of a sudden you add those guys to the defense. You have a defense that might have to carry that team early in the season. I think they're capable of doing it.
Absolutely. And Pete, looking at your power rankings, boy, you've got a lot of optimism for the Dallas Cowboys. You have Dallas 8th overall. What do you like about what Dallas has done and their chances moving forward?
Well, offensively, they're going to be the same explosive team that averaged almost 30 points a game last year. As long as Pickens doesn't moan and groan about his franchise tag, they're going to score a ton of points. So it's all about the defense. The defense gave up 30 last year. You can't win games that way. So what do? You bring in a new defensive coordinator from the Eagles. He's going to implement that Vic Fangio scheme. They're going to use 4-3-4. That's all well and good, but you have to get the pieces to do it. Well, they went out and got them. You look at their draft. You get Downs. I mean, Caleb Downs playing safety or nickel, wherever they want to play. He's going to be playmaker all over the field. You get Malachi Lawrence, who was one of the twitchiest edge rushers in the class. Those two guys just alone are going to be able to, create different things you can do there. Then they traded for D. Winters, a linebacker from the 49ers, who's a good player. They already had Quinnen Williams. They get guys back off injury from a year ago. Ravel, the corner from East Carolina, was coming off an ACL and didn't quite get there all the way back, but he's going to be in the mix now. So, they signed Jalen Thompson. I think defensively they're going to be really good. And if they're really good on defense and score a lot of points on offense, that's a good formula for winning a lot of games.
Go through the conference with me, B. And the Cowboys are certainly at the top of the list of teams that changed your mind and others' minds, too, during the draft. Who else moved up and back in the draft? And is it still the Seahawks and the Rams and everybody else? How do you see the conference?
Yeah, and the Seahawks and the Rams are going to be right there again with the 49ers, provided the 49ers stay healthy. And the 49ers are like Jacksonville. Their draft got panned because the consensus board wasn't on board with what they did. They drafted Stribling out of Mississippi probably too high, according to everybody else. I didn't think it was. I thought they drafted the running back too high. Black, the running back out of Indiana, but he's a good player. But they're going to, as long as their stars are on the field, and that includes getting Kittle back off his injury, they're going to be a good team. But the two teams to beat that division are the Seahawks and the Rams. And it's strange what the Rams did in the draft because you have Matt Stafford for a year. You went out and you traded your first-round pick to get McDuffie. You're all in. You signed Watson to play corner opposite McDuffie. You're all in. And then they drafted like they're not all in. They drafted, Ty Simpson, which I wouldn't have taken him at 13, period. But you're taking him if you're the Rams as your succession plan for Matt Stafford rather than giving him a Mekhi Lemon in the middle of the field when you don't have any juice and you have, one more year with Devontae Adams. I didn't get that. And then they came back and they drafted a tight end where they have 42,000 tight ends. And I know, Colby Parkinson's in the last year of his deal, so maybe they're trying to do that, but that's not going to help you this year. And then the third-round pick, good tackle from Missouri, who's going to move inside the guard, but he's not going to help you this year. So they drafted without taking advantage of having Matt Stafford for another year. I still think they're a good team. They addressed a key weakness by, the secondary that they fixed. But I'm telling you, they drafted – that was strange the way they drafted.
Pete Prisco talking NFL and a whole lot more. All right, let's forget all this other stuff. Let's get to the important stuff. The draft is over. Training camp's not till July. When's the Aruba? I need to know the Aruba date.
It's in July, June 1st, late July, June and early July. And before then, I think I'm going to go to the Bahamas for about 4 or 5 days just to go relax. So,
well, the Bahamas tease you up for Aruba. You don't want to go to Aruba if you haven't warmed up in the Bahamas, for God's sake. That's the warm up, right? Isn't that the warm up?
And I might come up there for mini camp or some of the OTAs. So I might be up that way. So I'm definitely.
Pete, thanks, brother. We appreciate
it's
it.
It's wind down time, baby.
Yes,
Frank,
it is. Phil, let me know when you're
and
coming
by the
up.
way,
We'll play golf.
What is this? Pretty soon you can play golf on Friday any damn day you want to.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm playing golf on Friday. You just said what I'm doing. It's not complicated, bro. Okay? It's not hard. It's not calculus, okay? It's golf on Friday. It's exactly what I'm doing. So you got
I guess when you turn 70, you got to wind down a little bit.
I guess that's right. Pete, thanks, buddy. We appreciate it. See you, man.
All right, I'll see you guys.
My buddy Pete Prisco checking in, talking NFL and a whole lot more. We're live here at UNF. Glad you're with us. Do want to thank our friends from Big Chief Tire Company with 6 locations on the First Coast, the north side, 2 on the west side, the south side, and, of course, the latest 2, Orange Park and Mandarin. So if you can hear me now, you are near a Big Chief Tire location. Frangie and Carline back after this. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Frank Frangie here. Nimnick Chevrolet is proud to be a 9-time Chevrolet Dealer of the Year recipient, the only dealership in Northeast Florida to ever win this prestigious award. Well, it's earned by treating customers with courtesy, respect, and fairness, all part of Nimnick's Treating You Right guarantee. Now, look, I've been buying my cars from Nimnick forever. That is a true story. I started in 1982 buying my cars from Billy Nimnick Jr., God rest his soul. He taught me how to buy a car, and I've been doing it ever since. I trust my friends at Nimnick. They care about the community. They care about their customers. They do it right. They've supported our charity, Walk-Off Charity, so many times. I really do appreciate that. If you want to buy a car, you want to be treated right, not just when you buy the car, but after the sale as well. Well, that's what they do. They care about their customers. They care about this community, and they care about treating you right. So who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? That answer is simple. Nobody but Nimnick. Visit their showroom off Cassett or go to nimnickchevy.com. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Joe C. here. I tried playing handyman with my sprinklers and French drain. Ho, ho, ho. And royally failed. So I called Clearwater Irrigation and Drainage, and John Haney came out personally, just like he'll do for you.
You know it. And for a limited time, my good buddy Joe C's coming too.
Huh?
Ain't that right, Joe?
I gotta go to the game.
Go? Go.
Clearwater Irrigation.
At least do this part.
And drainage too.
ClearwaterJacks.com.
Hey, Jacksonville DDH. Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here with the scoop from Dreamfinders Homes, your national builder of the year. We've got first-year interest rates as low as 2.99% in homes in 20-plus communities throughout Northeast Florida. If you're house hunting, make sure your first pick Dreamfinders Homes, the proud official home builder of the PGA Tour, the Florida Gators, and your Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dfhsalesevent.com today and tell them Dreamfinders Danny sent you.
Ladies and gentlemen, experience the thrill of the Kentucky Derby at Best Bet. Saturday, May 2nd, watch the most exciting 2 minutes in sports and dive into the action with live wagering. This could be your lucky day. Mark your calendars and join us at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine on Saturday, May 2nd for the Kentucky Derby live from Churchill Downs, the first race of the Triple Crown. Visit bestbetjacks.com for more details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Did you know that an annual coating inspection can extend the life of your building by years? Catching early signs like hairline cracks, fading, and moisture intrusion helps prevent costly repairs down the road and keeps your property looking its best. Our team at Performance Painting helps you stay ahead of maintenance with professional inspections and long-lasting coating solutions. Protect your building, protect your budget. Go to performance-painting.com to schedule a free inspection. Performance Painting, repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting. Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Here you can see.
The long goodbye begins. A very special evening with Journey. Final Frontier Tour, Saturday, May 16th. ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena. The lights go down one final time. Tickets are on sale now at JourneyMusic.com. Journey. Final Frontier Tour. 1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
It's a Big Chief Tire Friday on the Frangie Show. For all of your tires and automotive service needs, it's Big Chief Tire.
Hey, we thank our friends from Big Chief Tire. I mean, they do a fantastic job. Again, brakes and oil changes and alignments and, of course, those great tires. Whatever kind of tire you need, they're going to make sure you drive away safe in a tire, in a car that makes sense for you. Make sure that those tires are safe. You can really trust my friends from Big Chief Tire Company. What are you going to give away? Giveaways. I mean, it's sunny out there.
Let's do it.
Got anything?
RJ Saunders is joining us today, which we certainly appreciate. Yeah, we're not going to let that. Yeah, I mean,
not going to stop
we don't
us.
have JJ's pals,
Going to stop us.
We're going to give something away. The Farm at Okie Finoki's having another one of their outstanding dinners tomorrow night. We're giving away a pair of tickets, so you and a guest get to go to the Farm at Okie Finoki. You're going to get to pick mayhaws if you get out there early enough. Those are in season. Again, you can pick these mayhaws. You go home, you can make jelly, ice cream, whatever your heart's desire, but I can tell you they are amazing. That mayhaw jelly is about the best thing that I've had in a while at the Farm at Okie Finoki. So caller 3 right now at 641-1010. You and a guest are going to a great dinner. They're having a fish fry tomorrow night at the Farm at Okie Finoki, just about an hour up the road in Folkestone.
And call if you can go now. I mean, we realize it's tomorrow, and you might have plans for the weekend, but don't win the prize if you're not going to go. But if you don't have plans for tomorrow night, it's dinner for two. You're absolutely going to love the farm. You're going to love the people you meet up there, and the food's off the chart. So again, don't win the prize unless you know you can go tomorrow, because you're going to have a really good time if you do it. I'm glad you will. We got headlines coming up in a minute. So I saw this blowout last night. I got thinking of, all right, 3 blowouts that resonate with me the most. 62-24 to Nebraska. Tommy Frazier's still running. So is Lawrence Phillips. That might have been the biggest physical beatdown I can remember. They beat him down physically.
Warfel had no chance.
Steve Spurrier told me after the game that's the only time in his years at Florida that he saw fear in his guys' eyes, that he saw trepidation in his linemen's eyes. That's how physical that Nebraska team was. The only time we ever saw that. And fear might not be the word, but just, coach, there's nothing we can do. They're mauling us. 62-7 remains one of the most amazing. I mean, that was the Miami Dolphins. Now I know it was it was Marino's later years and Jimmy's later years. That was the Miami Dolphins.
You'll never see a game like that again.
I mean,
in the NFL postseason.
The Jacksonville Jaguars in 1999 beat the Miami Dolphins in the playoffs 62-7 as one of the most amazing blowouts I ever saw. One of the most amazing blowouts I ever saw. And of course, 52-20. I wasn't going to go very long without mentioning that one. That was painful for the Noel fans. Obviously happy for all us Gator fans. But that one was one that you rarely see a national championship game that big of a spread. That was still a bizarre game because and people don't remember this. It was 24-20 early in the second half. It was a 4-point game. Do you realize that?
Yeah.
Early in the second half, it was a 4-point game, and then the Gators started hitting everything.
Like the first play of that game, Thad Busby connects on like a 55-yard pass.
Right.
It didn't score, but I mean, right out of the gate, it was like, oh, here we go again, and 3 hours later, there's Terry Jackson taking off for a 40-yard touchdown to put the game away.
And that probably the Ike Hilliard catch and stop still is probably one of the most memorable plays.
Absolutely.
I could remember. From the Spurrier era, if you ask me memorable plays, and not games, we do that all the time, but memorable plays, that might be as memorable. It may be as memorable a play as I can remember from the Spurrier era.
Yeah.
When for people that don't know, Werfel threw a pass to Ike Hilliard. He caught it, went up and caught it. 2 guys were converging on him. He stopped. I don't know how he didn't blow out both knees. Not one, both. Stopped in reverse directions and went to the right corner of the end zone for the touchdown, to the right flag, I guess. So those 3 blowouts are the ones that stand out to me the most, I think.
Yeah, I would say another one in terms of Gators football on the wrong side of it. When Miami came into the Swamp, I think in Zook's first year.
02.
Yeah, I think it was just the second game of the season.
Yeah, well, they beat a UAB to start the season, then Miami came in.
And, I mean, that was over fast. And that was in an era where Florida just did not lose at home. And they certainly didn't get embarrassed at home. That one really pops out, as does the Miami a couple years ago coming into the Swamp for the opener where – Florida fans were very confident that, they were going to take care of business against Miami. And then here comes Cam Ward, and you blink and the game's over.
Other ones that stand out, Georgia TCU.
Oh, yeah.
That was, in a championship game. The fact that they rolled them like that stands out. Do you remember, and Florida State fans will remember better than I will, remember the FSU Clemson game?
Oh, yeah, where they went to Clemson won like 51-3.
Clemson was supposed to beat them. That was the year Clemson had caught up. Do you remember that? It was a Clemson had caught. I don't remember what year it was, but that was the year Clemson had caught FSU. They were going to, all that FSU dominance was going to be over. I think it was like 51-3 or something like that.
It was over by halftime.
Yeah, it was amazing. So those are the ones that kind of stand out to me. All right, let's take a break. Hayes says, I do remind you, Joe Mkodante, the UNF baseball coach, will join us in about a half an hour. He will be here at 5:15 as we get set for a huge rumble here on the UNF campus. But but before that, we'll take a break and we'll come back with Hayes headlines. So stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Get Florida Gators play-by-play on 1010XL.
The Gators move into May with a weekend series against the 15th-ranked Sooners. Florida, Oklahoma. Friday and Saturday night and Sunday afternoon on 1010 a.m.
Alert! Alert! Termite swarms are active right now in Jacksonville, and once they get inside, damage can happen fast. Termites don't knock, they silently attack the structure of your home, leaving behind costly repairs and long-term headaches. Protect what you've worked hard for with the proven protection homeowners trust. Terminix with advanced termite treatment and prevention solutions. Visit Terminix.com and schedule your free termite inspection today.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Get to know Jacksonville's future stars.
I believe in drafting best player available.
Listen for draft profiles to get to know the newest members of your home team. Enhanced by Premier Outdoor Inc. Roll through the offseason with AA Automotive and 1010XL.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Hey folks, it's Frank Frangie. Summer heat in Jacksonville is no joke, and the last thing you want is your AC given out when you need it the most. Well, right now, Big Chief Tire is offering $50 off AC services to keep you cool on the road. It's fast, honest service from a local team you can trust. Don't wait until it's too late. Call 904-932-0950 or visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com. Big Chief Tire, your home team for dependable service. That's how you take care of your car the right way.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Make Capital Glass and Shower Doors your premier choice for top-quality glass solutions. With over 40 years of expertise, their team specializes in commercial and residential projects. From elegant shower doors to modern frameless enclosures, they've got you covered. But that's not all. They also offer glass railing systems, glass wine cabinets, and much more. For unmatched quality and service, choose Capital Glass and Shower Doors. Your vision, their expertise. Visit online at capcoglass.com.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, what's the matter? I came right over.
It's my water, Jason. Smell this.
Yeesh.
That came out of my tap, Jason. I'm worried there's a lot more in there than just H and 2 and O.
Well, yeah. In Jacksonville, we have some of the hardest water in Florida. There's calcium carbonate in there and magnesium sulfate and...
I'm sorry, calcium... what now?
It's the same stuff that makes those cool stalactites in caves.
Well, it's making my shower all powdery, my tap's all crusty, and caves make me claustrophobic.
Put on these sunglasses.
Whoa.
Call Bueller Air and Plumbing, and our water treatment experts will do a free water quality test. We'll check for minerals, bacteria, anything that might make your water smelly or damage your plumbing or appliances.
And if it's bad, you can fix it?
Your glasses will come out cleaner, your shampoo will lather better.
I like a good lather, Jason.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hayes' Headlines, presented by Harrell and Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hayes Carline.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. We're out here at UNF getting ready for a Rumble. Looking forward to it. 7:05 tonight. JU at UNF, the two top teams in the ASUN Graphite Division. So it should be an excellent series coming up. But Frank, let's start with the Jaguars. Do thank our friends at Harrell and Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. They'll take fantastic care of you. Fantastic people at Harrell and Harrell. Let's start with the Jaguars rookie minicamp. We're a week away from it, but let's get an early preview from you. What are some things that you're looking forward to seeing, assuming we're going to be able to get out there maybe next weekend and watch one of them?
Yeah, I think it's hard in mini camps. No one's hitting to tell a lot about the physicality, which is the most important thing. Number one, I want to see how they look. How they look in a uniform. Do they look overweight? Do they look in shape? Are they bigger than I thought? Are they smaller? The first thing I like about a Jaguar minicamp is to see guys in person. I think that's first and foremost. And the ball's going to be in the air because you can't hit. So, yeah, I'm going to watch both tight ends. Can they catch the football? I think that's part of it. So I think the things that stand out to me more than anything else with the drafted rookies, there's going to be far more than that. But if the drafted rookies, I'm going to see, I want to watch the tight ends catch the football. I want to watch the two receivers. I want to see how big Josh Cameron is. He looks like he's physical, right? I want to see how C.J. Williams runs routes. I want to see how they catch the football. I think more than anything else, watch the ball in the air, see how the guys physically look, and get a vibe for the team. It's hard. Rookie minicamps are fun because they're a bunch of new guys, but it's hard to no one's hitting anybody, so it's hard to tell a whole lot about the team. But that's what all about. What are you going to watch? What stands out for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the ball skills and certainly Boerkircher, everything he does, we'll certainly have an eye on. But, yeah, I think, you drafted two tight ends and two receivers. And, yeah, to your point, you're not going to see Oklahoma drills. There's no contact. So it's hard to get much of other than just seeing Emmanuel Pregnon in person, hard to get a real sense of how he's going to be as an offensive lineman here. And same thing with Albert Regis at defensive tackle. You're pretty much just basing it in your early opinion just on how they look.
I will say I'm looking forward to watching Joey Aguilar throw the football. We watched him so much in college. Here's a good story. If you didn't follow the story, he was at App State, and then he transferred to UCLA and was going to be UCLA's quarterback until I'm drawing a blank. What's the guy's name?
I'm Oliva.
Yeah, Nico. So he was going to be UCLA's quarterback till Nico transferred from Tennessee to UCLA. Aguilar said, okay, fine, I'll transfer back. So he transferred from UCLA back to Tennessee and was pretty good. Was a pretty good quarterback at Tennessee, and now he's in Jacksonville as an undrafted rookie. It's going to be kind of fun to watch him, I think.
It will be, and Baselli mentioned on the drill with Dan and Jeff the other day, the Virginia running back, undrafted free agent, so another one to certainly keep our eye on. Let's talk about Nate Boerkircher. He went on Jaguars today with Mike and Tony and Tommy Mack and talked about his journey from being a walk-on to a second-round pick.
Man, it's funny, even in high school, and I kind of accepted that walk-on offer, my best friends told me, you're never going to play. And I'm like, dang. But I didn't know what to expect. Yeah. Obviously, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I thought, maybe work my way up, hopefully go out special teams year 3, 4, maybe play some offense later in my career. But I got there and realized I could play with those guys. And I've been very blessed with the people in my life, the coaches, mentors, my family who developed me along the way. I came a long way. I was pretty small, underdeveloped, undersized when I got into college, couldn't really block, and I've gotten a lot better. And one thing about my career is I think I have never stopped developing and never stopped getting better and going in the right direction. So, my plan is to keep going in the right direction and keep improving.
Good for Mike and Tony for tracking Nate down. It was a good interview. I'm going to reiterate what I said yesterday, Hayes, that the team, you made the point that you were down there, that Liam Cohen was walking on air after they got him. I can tell you, talking to front office sorts, and the point I made yesterday, talking to one of the Jags' offensive assistant coaches, they think this guy's really good. Pete Prisco just kind of reaffirmed that a moment ago when he said there's a lot of teams that wanted him, and the Jags got him before some others could get to him. I have no idea how that'll play out if all that's accurate, but that's enough people that I respect now that thinks this guy's going to be some kind of a player. And so Fred Taylor raved about him. So, again, we'll see. I haven't seen him. I can't comment because I haven't watched him play. I don't remember him from A&M. So I can't say, hey, I watched him in the A&M Florida game. I don't remember. But I will tell you, enough people have raved about this cat now that I can't wait to watch and see. I'm serious about that. Wait to see what he is, just because of everything I've heard about him from people that I trust. I guess that's the point.
Yeah, no doubt about it. In the world of college football, we talked about this yesterday, but it is now official. Former JU Hoops player Jalen Jordan signs with Florida to play tight end as a grad transfer this season. The 6'6", 240-pound Jordan is from Hilliard, so kind of a cool local story.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, played at Flagler before JU. I'll say this now. I watched a lot of those JU games. Boy, he looks the part. He's pretty now. You talk about a guy that's cut and ripped and looks like a bodybuilder / football player. He looks the part, Hayes. We'll see what kind of football. And listen, if you're a basketball player, you got good hands. I mean, basketball players handle the ball way more than any football player does, other than the quarterback. I mean, every basketball player's got the ball every possession. So he's got very good hands, and we'll see if that translates.
Absolutely. Let's get it to the NBA. A trio of Game 6s tonight. But we're going to start with the one involving the Orlando Magic.
Oh, man.
As the Magic get a chance to eliminate the Pistons at 7, another chance. What do you think? Can the Magic finally close out the 1 seed?
Can you imagine tonight if you were in Mandarin, the DeCasa hacker right now?
Be a big night.
Can you imagine the nerves? Actually, he'll be on the air, I guess, won't he? If you were 1010XL tonight, the nerves of hacker. Hey, you know what? I hope they win.
Absolutely.
I hope they, because I agree with Hacker. They're not going up there and winning a Game 7. And you know my theory. Teams that win Game 6s win series either way. They're not going to have Franz Wagner, and that's important because he's the guy given most of the credit for at least getting in Cade Cunningham's way. So it's going to be a tough challenge for him, but I hope they win.
RJ, who do you like tonight?
I like Orlando in this one. It does seem that Orlando is a team that is saying, listen, Detroit gave us their best punch. We feel like we were able to take that punch. We just weren't able to finish the job. And I think the energy that Detroit got in Game 5, Orlando will expect that from their fan base in Game 6. So I think that it's going to be a tough game. I think we'll see a lot of what we saw in Game 5, but I think ultimately Orlando won't let this one slip away.
All right. The Raptors try to stay alive versus the Cavs at 7:30, while the Lakers try to close out the Rockets in Houston at 9:30. Who do you guys like in those games?
RJ, are our Lakers going to win or not? What do you think?
They better. That's my thing. Yeah, that is our team. We always say we, Frank and I, as if we play for the team, and we suit up. Pass me the ball, LeBron. So I think that they will. Houston has just done, some very interesting things over the last 2 games, especially making Luke Kennard play defense because, he was kicking their tail in the first couple of games. But I think LA just understands, listen, we can't let this game go. And Frank, I think, you would be a testament to this. The story that would be for LeBron James and in his way if he gives up a 3-1 lead in the first round and ultimately loses it. I think LeBron James understands that won't let that happen.
Yeah, and it's a shame. Someone's got to find something negative about one of the 2 or 3 greatest players in the history of the sport. But, I think they're going to win, move on. I don't think they're going to beat the Thunder, but I think they're going to get to the next round.
What do you guys think about last night's action? We had the Knicks humiliate the Hawks 140-89 to win that series. It was 83-36 at halftime. The Joker is out after the Nuggets lost to the Timberwolves 110-98, and the 76ers forced a Game 7, beating the Celtics 106-93.
We've talked a great deal about the Falcons, the Hawks collapse, and the Knicks moving on. We haven't talked about Denver yet. RJ, what about it? Is the Jokic era about over in Denver? Do they have to rebuild? What's the story there?
I don't think that it's necessarily over. It was surprising to me that they lost this series ultimately due to the fact that Minnesota had a lot of injuries. I understand Denver did as well. But, I think that's really the big story there, especially with so many pundits saying that they felt that Denver, this was the deepest team that they've had, which included that championship run that they had a couple of years ago. But, I mean, Minnesota's a team that's been to the Western Conference Finals for the last 2 years. So even without their best player in Anthony Edwards, for them to be able to pull it out, I mean, big kudos to them. But I do believe that, like you said, with the Lakers and OKC, I mean, San Antonio's just licking their chops at the remains of the Minnesota Timberwolves. So I don't expect that next series to go very far.
And RJ Saunders giving us a taste of his insights. But if you want even more, RJ, tell us about Open Gym tomorrow. What will you be discussing?
Yeah, we'll be breaking down the playoff series that have been going on. I mean, listen, we're having all of these first round playoff series, 6 of them going at least 6 games. The last time that happened was in 2014. So we'll definitely just talk about that, the status of the teams. We also have a very special interview. I'll just tease it that way, that I want you guys to be able to listen to at 11:15. And then also, is this the end of the Golden State Warriors and their run in their era? We heard Steve Kerr say to Draymond Green and Steph Curry, I don't know what's next, but it's been an amazing ride. So what does that mean? Is Steve Kerr on his way out the door? And could that ultimately mean, guys such as Draymond Green and Steph Curry could be out the door? So all that coming up at 11 o'clock.
Fantastic. Open Gym tomorrow. We'll certainly look forward to that. Let's get into horse racing. The Kentucky Derby is tomorrow. The favorite, Renegade, will try to become the first winner from the #1 post since 1986.
Is that right?
Yeah.
How about that? I did not know that. I like Secretariat.
Well, that's a good horse to pick.
Or Citation.
Yeah.
One or two I've heard of.
What about Fukasi Pegasus?
It's interesting. A serious story that has developed is this push to not have horses race for the Triple Crown. So is the Triple, and again, I know nothing about horse racing, but is the Triple Crown not the big deal that it once was? I mean, forever, whoever wins the Kentucky Derby, you'd wait to watch and see if it won the Preakness, just so you'd have the 2 weeks of build-up before the Belmont.
And they have tried to extend it, I think, to give the horses a little bit more.
They have, but
time.
Once the Kentucky Derby was over, the whole conversation was, does the horse win the Preakness? Because then you have the 2-3 weeks to talk all about it and compare it, and then start comparing other Triple Crown winners, so we'll see.
I blame analytics.
Me too.
Let's get it to college baseball. JU at UNF tonight at 7:05. Again, tomorrow at 6:05 in the evening, and Sunday at 1:05. Joe Mkodante will join us shortly to talk all about it, the outstanding UNF baseball coach. But the Ospreys lead the A-Suns Graphite division at 15-6, while the Dolphins are second at 12-9. So some fantastic baseball tonight.
Both playing really well now. UNF's played well all year long. A little bit of a dip now, but they played well all year long. JU got really hot. Again, the story of these two teams is UNF went into JU and absolutely walloped them, swept them with some ease, and continued to play well, by the way. But after that, JU has gone on a 14-2 run, which includes 2 wins in Gainesville. They're 14-2 since then, including going to Gainesville and beating Sully's Gators twice in that stretch. JU red hot, UNF very good. 2 really good teams trying to win a division in the A-Sun. They're the 2 teams to beat in that division. It's going to be a fun weekend. It really is.
No doubt about it. We will get you out with today's musical nugget. 50 years ago tonight.
Wow.
Leonard Skinner, Jacksonville Coliseum. What a show. If you saw Leonard Skinner in 1976, this is the 50th anniversary of that concert. This is Freebird.
This might have been the most automatic make headline song of all time. Is that right? I mean, if you didn't play this one.
Right.
Yeah, so great band from our great city. Wonderfully done, and what a magical, iconic song. Frank Frangie, Hayes Carline with you. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
If I leave here tomorrow.
wish upon a star. Sometimes dreams come true. 1010XL.
Flowers and cards are great for Mother's Day. But why not make this Mother's Day extra special with something timeless from Beard's Diamonds? The team at Beard's has put together an amazing collection of affordable and distinctive gifts, up to 40% off. Beautiful bracelets with diamonds and colored gemstones, stunning pendants, and gorgeous earrings featuring both natural and lab-grown diamonds. Think about it. It's the gift she'll be able to enjoy for years, even decades. Always a reminder of that special Mother's Day in 2026. Rings, bands, pearls, fashion pieces, all the latest from the world's top designers. Beard's makes it easy to show the mother in your life how much she means to you and to the whole family. And with up to 40% savings, you'll be amazed at what you can do with your budget. Get the card and the flowers, but top it off with a spectacular piece of jewelry from Beard's. Beard's Diamonds, not another chain store owned by Wall Street. Your local jeweler. Family owned and operated for nearly 45 years. Beard's Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harold and Harold studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here, and the cooler weather is upon us. Folks, it's the perfect time to try the new breakfast sandwich from Dandy Foods. A hearty one, too. A twin-pack cinnamon swirl and country sausage. You get the sweet first, then the salty kicks in, and trust me, they are addicting. And you'll find them all at daily stores around town. So the next time you're out and about, stop and get all that deliciousness in less than a minute from Dandy. Just one more reason to go out and make yours a Dandy, and do it today.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Don't miss the Bari Breakdown with Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays around 1:35 for the latest in sports injury from all the big names in the game. Who's MIA, who's coming back? Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays at 1:35 on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Frank Frangie here for my friend and insurance agent Craig Dewhurst. Craig has been helping families on the First Coast with their insurance needs for 25 years as your good neighbor and local State Farm agent. Now's a great time to review your insurance policies, whether you need auto, homeowners, or renter's insurance, or insurance for your golf cart, boat, or jet skis. Craig handles all of my family's insurance needs, and even better, he gives back to the community. Call Craig today at 904-940-9740. That's 904-940-9740.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Got a runner, a digger, a backyard escape artist. Lock it down with Superior Fence and Rail and keep those paws safe. Right now, get a free gate when you install 100 feet or more. That's right, a brand new fence and a free gate to match. More freedom for them, more peace of mind for you. Don't wait, this Safe Paws promo won't last. Call today or visit SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental. With light sedation for cleaning, then deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
Your AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
I am so totally excited about Mother's Day because I know my men will send me a bunch of Kuhn Flowers floral arrangements. I get so many floral arrangements from Kuhn Flowers, it totally makes my friends all jealous and crazy. Order for mom today at KuhnFlowers.com.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp continue their series on the road facing the Durham Bulls tonight at 6:45. The Jacksonville Sharks host the New Mexico Chupacabras tomorrow night at 7 as UNF hosts Education Appreciation Night. Teachers, administration, and other school staff can take advantage of buy one, get one free ticket deals at jacksharks.com or 904-621-0700. It's 83 degrees at 5 o'clock time and temp, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
It's a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. For all of your tires and automotive service needs, it's Big Chief Tires.
We sure appreciate our friends from Big Chief Tire. They do a terrific job with 6 locations here on the First Coast, the north side, the south side, 2 on the west side, Orange Park and Mandarin. I'm telling you, if you want to really make sure your car's running right, just take it in there, let them do the oil change, let them check the tires, the alignment, the brakes. You'll get it running right. They keep Jacks rolling. They do a wonderful job at Big Chief Tire. Joe Mkodante is going to join us about 5 minutes, so we're going to go quick here. But I'm interested, we'll touch on it a little bit at the bottom, and then throughout the weeks. Wonder where the fan bases are for all 4 of the college teams we follow. We've talked about the Gators and their momentum with Sumrall, but they're still playing 2 quarterback. They're going to play quarterback. I haven't played very much, no matter what. I mean, if I'm an FSU fan, everyone's dumping on FSU. I may at least say, listen, our quarterback's played. Your quarterback hadn't played. The FSU fans don't have any hope at all. Miami had the great season, but they had a bunch of guys in the draft. Now they've got another good transfer quarterback, but it's a different team. And, of course, Georgia just keeps on keeping on. But it'll be, you know what I mean? It'll be fun. I'm curious where all of them are. If you asked Gator fan excited but cautious optimism, Georgia fan expects to win the national title, Miami fan believes but there's a lot of newness to see, and FSU fan just waiting for the next regime. Would that be, if you sum them up, would that be where you were?
That's where I would believe it is. I wouldn't think there's any sort of angst for Georgia fans at all, but I'm sure that they're eager to see a little bit more of a playoff performance, out of Kirby Smart's guys this year. It's been sort of a early exit the last couple, but obviously their program is the envy of college football. I mean, in terms of the consistent greatness that they've had over the last decade. I think Florida State, I don't even know that there'd be a fan that would defend Ashton Daniels. I mean, yeah, he's played, right, but 24 touchdowns to 22 interceptions. I mean, that's nothing to get excited about. And I think Miami fans are completely confident that while it's a challenge in terms of the replacing Bain and Beck and Mesidor and Mauiaga and the guys that we just saw get drafted in some very high, I still think that he's recruited so well, and they do, have the budget to bring in a Darian Minsay at quarterback, who's obviously an exquisite player at the collegiate level. So I think Miami fans are incredibly optimistic. And and I think Florida fans are optimistic as well. So I think everybody's excited, but I think it's tough if you're a Florida State fan. I mean, obviously you're hoping for the best.
Yeah,
but it seems like there isn't a whole lot there. Because see, the other thing too with Florida State is normally you wouldn't think that their schedule is overly difficult,
right?
But having to play Alabama and Florida out of conference, and then to get the slate of ACC opponents that they received. That's a tough road. I mean, so I would say everybody's excited for football season, but boy, I would think for FSU, you're really grabbing at straws.
Yeah, but again, to your point, we'll talk more about it at the bottom. Come August, everybody wants something to be excited about, even though it's hard to find sometimes. So we'll get to that coming up. Let's take a break. I'll tell you who's excited. JU and UNF baseball fans are excited because the Rumble is about to start. 3 big ones in the Atlantic Sun here at UNF. They will host JU the next 3 nights. When we come back, Joe Mkodante will join us. This is 1010XL at 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Wonder what Rick Ballou would be doing if he wasn't on 1010XL?
The ultimate gentleman spy. Irresistible to women, deadly to his enemies.
Rick Ballou.
A legend in his own time.
Evenings on 1010XL.
Picture this. steaks on the grill, drinks in hand, your crew gathered around a brand new outdoor kitchen. CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living makes it happen. From kitchens to fire pits, they do it all. CSSFireplaces.com. You dream it, they build it.
Frank Frangie here. I've been telling you about Stanley Pools for years. But you know my favorite thing about this family-owned company? They take such good care of my pool. All I have to do is relax and enjoy it. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and their weekly maintenance makes owning a pool effortless. You can trust Stanley Pools to build your pool or upgrade it. They've done both for me. Call 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
It's deck days at Lowe's, and the savings are stacked. Right now, pros get 15% off all in-stock composite decking from top brands like Trex, TimberTech, and Decorators. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt max 5-amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt tool. The deck's stacked in your favor with brands pros trust. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 4/22 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Sometimes you agree with him, sometimes you don't.
On the runway, I'm coming in hot.
CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco joins the Frangie Show Friday afternoons on 1010XL. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Ready to join the team? The Jaguars and our stadium partners are hosting a job fair Wednesday, May 20th. We're looking for enthusiastic new faces to serve as ushers, ticket takers, concessionaires, security, and more. Stop by the Prime Osborne Convention Center and apply on May 20th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Professional dress, a pen, and a smile are all you need. There are 1,000 spots to be filled for the 2026 season, so join us and be a part of the Jaguars game day team.
For the greenest, lushest lawn on the block, choose the local legends, Roundtree Sod. Don't just settle for ordinary. Let Roundtree Sod deliver you a picture-perfect lawn. To get a free estimate, call 7414-SOD. 7414-SOD.
Hi, Frank Frangie here, inviting you to join my wife and me June 22nd of 2027 as we experience the food, wine, and culture of iconic Italy with Colette. Our journey takes us to historic cities and enchanting medieval towns. We'll enjoy a wonderful 7-night stay in the Montecatini Term A famous resort and spa town nestled in the heart of the rolling hills of Tuscany. Visit the cultural treasures of Florence, Pisa, and lovely Lucca. Along the way, we'll discover the food, wine, and old world charm, and even have a special chef-led cooking class. This and so much more. Colette handles the details, flights, hotels, meals, and the local experiences. Your only job is to have the time of your life. Don't miss joining my wife and me in Italy. Now, to learn more, visit 1010XL.com or call Colette at 800-581-8942.
Come away with me.
That's 1010XL.com or call Colette at 800-581-8942.
Looking for an exciting, fun-filled evening your whole group can enjoy? Discover the thrill of indoor football. Fast-paced, action-packed, and full of family fun. Be there as your Sharks take on the New Mexico Chupacabra Saturday, May 2nd at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Kickoff, 7 o'clock. Don't miss the action-packed halftime performance by Showtime USA. Ask about our family 4-packs. 4 tickets and $50 in food vouchers, all for only $100. To purchase tickets, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700. It's Education Appreciation Night, presented by the University of North Florida. All teachers, administrators, and school staff get our special buy one, get one free ticket deal. Join us on the field after the game for our free autograph session, sponsored by Flight Adventure Park. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours today at 621-0700. That's 621-0700. Sharks football, where memories are made.
Go Sharks!
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
It's a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. For all of your tires and automotive service needs, it's Big Chief Tire.
And we welcome you back. Thanks to our Big Chief Tire friends. 6 locations here on the First Coast. Frank Frangie, Hayes Carline. Joe Mkodante joined us. I got to tell you the story. Joe's throwing BP. And we're running out of time on the break, okay? He dropped his BP. Did you see the sprint?
Oh, yeah.
Went in a dead
impressive.
sprint. Let me tell you, I was watching you. I don't know if you had your good stuff. I thought you were leaving the four seam up a little bit today. How'd you feel about your BP today?
I need to get in there, get some recovery work. Get with the trainer afterwards. I've got some miles on that thing. So,
thank you for joining us, and congratulations again on a really good season. You've lost a few the last week or so, but everyone loses baseball. That happens. But it's been a really good season for you. You have to, and you got to finish. I know, but you got to feel really good about this.
Yeah, I think we look back and certainly very proud of the way the guys played, especially the first half of our conference slate. And we challenged ourselves in the preseason non-conference schedule, got SEC opponents and some things like that. So we've kind of built up and established that we can play a good brand of baseball, and certainly did so in the first half. But we talk about it. What's this week's team done, and we've got to go earn it this weekend, and that starts tonight. So a lot of good baseball games ahead and a lot of good opponents.
Sean Benjamin is really playing at a high level, 321. What's kind of his approach been to the plate, and what kind of growth have you seen out of him?
Yeah, Sean's a guy that, we tried to get him in game one last year and ran into the fence playing his brand of baseball, which is just kind of get after it and fly and try to catch everything, and ran into the wall and had a little shoulder thing. So, coming in and really getting his first true year and being a freshman, a redshirt freshman, it's been exciting, and it's been really neat to watch him progress. He's always been a guy that can put the bat on the ball and a high contact guy, and I think his growth this year has been understanding that and now being a little bit more selective in getting pitches that he can do some damage with. So you're starting to see the doubles numbers get a little bit higher. And he's not just up there trying to put balls in play now. Now he's trying to put balls in play with intent. And he's certainly given us some more at-bats.
Joe, you got a good team. Jay's got a good team. You guys went over there and wore them out. I mean, what went into that? I mean, again, it was three blowouts. Tell me about that series. Why did it go the way it did?
We were playing a really good style, and we were confident, and we were riding the high, and we caught them at a time where they were struggling. And now it's kind of the flip side. Not that we're playing bad baseball, but we're 500 in our last 2 weeks, and they're playing exceptional baseball, 9-1, and have some big wins against some really good opponents. So they're going to be confident coming in here, and that's one of those things that anybody knows baseball. It's the confidence and the momentum is a big part of it. So we worked all week getting our guys ready, getting our guys' minds right, and also making sure they understand this isn't going to be the same ball club we played a month ago. This is a team that thinks and feels better about themselves and is playing better baseball. So we're going to have to go out and play a really good game tonight.
What have you seen out of your team this week that lets you know that they're ready to get back to playing winning baseball?
I think it was a tough way for us to end the weekend last weekend, and I was really impressed with the leadership. We had a couple of guys that kind of stood up and talked as we kind of closed it down, the series over in Fort Myers, and it's really cool as a head coach to see the culture and the leadership start to kind of bear itself. And it's just been really good energy this week in practice, and we challenged them a little bit. We had a long extended practice on Wednesday. We made them get out here and get some work in, and the spirits have been really good, the energy's been really good, and just the focus of their work. And that's one of the things that this group does exceptionally well is when they're out here to get work in, they're going to get good work in, and they're going to get better.
Joe, when you coach a team, baseball, you're out there all the time. You're in the fall, and you get to know your team and what you think you have. And a lot of times, what you have isn't exactly what you thought. Farner's hit all the home runs, and Dakota Stone's been such an ace. And is it what you thought? I mean, are there any players that are maybe ahead of where you thought they'd be? And does it work like that, or did you have what you thought you had?
I think it's cyclical, right? Like it's average for the reason. So there's times where Matt Farner was scorching hot, and then there's been times where Dakota's had 3 or 4 really great starts. But I think what gets lost is the collection of the group, the numbers of the depth that we have. And you look at game box scores, and one game it's the 2-hole hitter, one game it's the 6-hole, one game it's the 9-hole, one game it's the guy who comes in the 5th inning in long relief. So I felt like our strength was we had a lot of really good players, and I still feel that way. I feel like we've got some guys that certainly have gotten the headlines when they've had exceptional outings and weekends. But on the whole, I just feel like we've got 8 or 9 hitters that can give you competitive at bats, and we've got 3 solid starters, but 4 or 5 really good arms out of the bullpen. And sometimes we need it in the 6th inning. Sometimes we need the big time performance to start the game.
Yeah, speaking of the bullpen, Brandon Adams, a 2.93 ERA, 17 appearances, 30 2/3 innings worked with 46 strikeouts. What has pleased you about the year that he's had?
I tell you what, Brandon Adams is one of my favorite stories of this group. I think, he's a guy that we always knew there was some talent, local product, and, has the frame, has the arm speed, but the way he's kind of matured as a baseball player this year, and I think he would tell you that, he just has matured the way he handles the game and no longer fears adversity, understands it's a part of it, understands he's going to have a bad outing or a bad inning, and just kind of takes it. And I think he's started to care less about the things that he can't control. And when guys mature and they start to think that way, as much as you keep yelling at them as the coach, once they experience it for themselves and they kind of adopt it, that it's a little bit of a different experience. And so for him, he's just gone out there and every weekend has just kind of given us everything he's got, and he's had a lot of great outings for us.
Joe Mkodante with us, the UNF baseball coach. And this is really important to me because I'm a baseball guy from around here. But this year, you're really good. JU's really good. The high schools have really good. Boy, and it's always had good baseball around here. You and I've had this conversation. Man, maybe better than ever. It feels like there's baseball momentum here. You've got the new field. JU did their new wall. The high schools, I mean, you feel that? Do you sense it? There's baseball momentum around here.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the reason you take a UNF job, because you understand that there's such good talent here at all levels, whether it's the JUCO, the Division IIs, the Division I's, the high schools, the travel ball teams. So, I saw a statistic came out this week. As a Division I baseball programs, we have the largest percentage of Florida residents on our roster, and there's a reason behind that. We don't necessarily go out looking for a percentage, but we want guys that want to represent their state and want to be close to home and want to help us build something. So you certainly, that doesn't get lost on you when you're trying to build a roster in a program.
We saw the basketball tournament get expanded this week. Is it time to do that in baseball as well, in your opinion?
I think so. I think the way the game has changed with, the revenue sharing and the NIL, I think you've got a bigger disparity between the haves and the have-nots, but we still play the same game. And I still want an ASUN team to have a chance to go into a regional and 2 or 3 teams knock off a Power 4 opponent, because we see it every week in the non-conference schedule and the non-conference slate. So I think we've got a really good brand of baseball with some really good ball clubs in our league, and certainly giving an opportunity for more teams, more of those mid-majors to have some multiple bid years. I think it would be great for our sport.
And I think about this too. Hazen asked you that during the break, and I got thinking about it when you answered him during the break. The way it's changed is more players staying in, right? I mean, it's like anything else. There's money now, so players in all sports stay in a little bit. Baseball's better than ever. There's more good teams. I guess that's the point, right? There's more mid-majors. Mid-majors win a game here or there, but they don't make it to Omaha very often. I almost wonder if that's changed. That might change. Yeah, I mean, there's more good teams than there have been, aren't there?
There is, and certainly, some of these Power Fours have unbelievable rosters.
Yeah.
But baseball is a beautiful game that it doesn't matter how much harder you throw than my pitcher. If my guy can execute, we got a shot. And it doesn't matter how much more bat speed the 3-hole hitter has for a Power 4 opponent. If our guy gets the 2-out hit, we got a chance to win, and that's why I love our game. And so to that point, I love more opportunities for those mid-major opponents to get a chance in postseason play.
What goes into scouting JU, a team in general, like particularly when you get this deep in the year? How far back do you go watching them? Do you just focus on last couple of weeks? What's that like as a coach getting ready to play a series like this?
Yeah, I think it's certainly, you got a good feel of your opponent. It's kind of like professional baseball. You're not just throwing them 3 times. You get them on the front end of the season and the back end. So I think what you've got to look at is, have they changed anything? Are they having success the same way they had success coming into the first series? And what type of team are you, and how have you changed? So, I'm always a coach that we want to play to our team's strengths, but you want to know the strengths of the opponent. And certainly, like I said, they're a different ball club than they were playing earlier in the season, so we're ready for a challenge.
How does the emotion play? They all know each other.
Yeah.
Wilkie coached over there. Dakota started out over there. How does that play? I mean, do you guys get too hyped up? Do you have to manage that, or is that not a thing?
I think to a point, yes. I think to a point where you go out there and maybe you want to over-impress a little too much because the guy across the lines. And but this group's gone through the season enough and have, I think, started to mature and realize that you can't go out there and try to impress anybody. The game is an opportunity to execute in certain moments, and we've got to execute and not get caught up in the opponent. We preach it from day one. Your opponent should be faceless, should be nameless. Your job is to go out there and pitch to the moment or get the at-bat done when you need to. And certainly when you got a rivalry weekend, you want those guys to continue to approach the game that way.
How does the ASUN tournament work? You guys have a 3-game lead in the Graphite division. If you win it, or the 1 seed, what kind of advantage does that give you, if any?
Yeah, no, it's a huge advantage this year, and this is a different format as what we've had in the previous years. But the winner of both divisions gets a double bye, and you're right into double elimination on Thursday, and it's basically from there. It's a 4-team regional format. So if you can wrap up the number 1, you're putting yourself in a really really good position. Now you still got to go win 3 to 4 games depending on how the format goes, but you're putting yourself in a really good spot.
That's still in the land, right?
Mm-hmm.
That place still gigantic. It used to be gigantic.
So
still
back
gigantic?
when I coached there, I tell you what, I learned by year 2.
You
needed
coached
to
at
recruit,
Conrad
you needed
Park.
to recruit pitchers, not
Yeah.
hitters. The power
Yeah.
hitters didn't want to go there because it was a graveyard. When they changed it and did the renovations, they adjusted the fences, and now it plays a little bit more fair. But yeah, certainly back old Conrad Park. I mean, you could hit it twice and the outfielder still catch it.
When I coached Legion, Joe, we played. Chipper played for them, and he played for that post 6 down there, and we beat them 10-9 in the game when there were more triples than you could imagine, except for Chipper's 2 home runs and a double. Okay,
if anybody was going to hit it out, he was going to hit it out.
And he was the one that did. But the place was gigantic.
Yeah,
the place was gigantic. So, all right, final thing. We'll let you get your team ready. This is an exciting time. I mean, you've been here now 3 years. You get the feel of this. You've played JU a bunch. You got the new field. How exciting is all this for you? How's it been for you?
I think this is what you came here with in mind, right? This year in the spot you want to be in, playing some meaningful games down the stretch with a chance to win a championship. And, but I'm a guy that wakes up every day and just kind of tries to reset and see what I got to knock out today. So I don't get too far ahead or too far behind. And I think the team has done a really good job of that as well. But you're certainly excited to be in this spot, and we've played well enough to get us here, but we got to take it home and go out and earn it today.
Joe Mkodante, the UNF baseball coach. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Back in a moment on 10XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Play-by-play just makes everyday life better.
I did not see this one coming.
Get the most play-by-play on 1010XL, Jacksonville's play-by-play sports radio.
Flowers and cards are great for Mother's Day, but why not make this Mother's Day extra special with something timeless from Beard's Diamonds? The team at Beard's has put together an amazing collection of affordable and distinctive gifts, up to 40% off. Beautiful bracelets with diamonds and colored gemstones, stunning pendants, and gorgeous earrings featuring both natural and lab-grown diamonds. Think about it. It's the gift she'll be able to enjoy for years, even decades. Always a reminder of that special Mother's Day in 2026. Rings, bands, pearls, fashion pieces, all the latest from the world's top designers. Beard's makes it easy to show the mother in your life how much she means to you and to the whole family. And with up to 40% savings, you'll be amazed at what you can do with your budget. Get the card and the flowers, but top it off with a spectacular piece of jewelry from Beard's. Beard's Diamonds, not another chain store owned by Wall Street. Your local jeweler. Family owned and operated for nearly 45 years. Beard's Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center.
Hey, I've got that craving again. How about some Mr. Chubby's wings?
Have you had the Chubby style wings? Grilled to perfection with Chubby's secret seasoning.
You know I have. They are so delicious. I swear you can't find anywhere in town with better wings and better prices on drinks.
So many different specials each night, too. Well, I'm ready to chub it up again.
Me too.
See all their specials at MrChubby'sWings.com. Locations on Fleming Island, the West Side, and Ponte Vedra Beach. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Rick Ballou here with a congratulations for John's Auto. They've been in business in Jacksonville for 40 years. That's right, going all the way back to 1985. Right now, they'd like to thank each and every one of you who's ever gotten their vehicle serviced at John's Auto. So, car, truck, or diesel, all makes, all models, whether it's a routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul, go to John's Auto on Arlington Road, JohnAutomotiveJacks.com.
Hicken here. Experience crystal clear vision with the Eye Associates, formerly Bow 9 Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet Betchkel, MD, Jacksonville's leader in advanced eye care. From routine eye exams to specialized vision care, their experienced team dedicated to improving and preserving your vision. The same care you've come to trust, now with a new name. To schedule your appointment today, call the Eye Associates, formerly Bow 9 Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet A. Betchkel, MD, at 296-0098.
Free Comic Book Day is going nuclear this Saturday, and Gotham City Limit is blowing up. Meet legendary artist Aaron Bartling, score massive sales, grab free comics, and soak in the good vibes of the hobby. Follow us on all socials and take Free Comic Book Day to the limit.
Hacker here with an opportunity. Drop 40 pounds by the 4th. You can do it. I dropped my first 40 in 6 weeks. Hayes did it. Dempsey, Amber, and thousands of others have done it. 40 by the 4th. Awaken. 180weightloss.com.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
You may not be able to control the air you breathe on the outside, but you certainly can on the inside of your home. Just call Florida Home AC and ask about the Remy Halo. It's the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
We had a lot of good moments today. I love my man Pete Prisco. He did a great job talking draft. But I'm going to say Joe Mkodante coming by here. He's very excited. He's a really good dude, man. He's built this UNF program in 3 years and done a terrific job building it. He really has. And now UNF is in a great spot. And I tell you what now, these two programs are really good. So Joe Mkodante talking a little baseball with us, UNF JU baseball, coming up tonight. And they're in a really good place, and I'm excited for them. I'll tell you this, and that is our golden moment. I'll tell you this, and we'll get to this football talk in a minute, I promise. But these two teams are good now. I mean, JU had a weird season. Started 10-1.
A lot of injuries.
Yeah. Then went like 2-15.
Wow.
And then went 14-2.
Yeah.
So they had a weird stretch. And losing Jonas Shields really walloped them, and they had to kind of learn how to play without him. But I'm telling you now, not just because I like both these teams. These are two good teams now. These are teams, again, JU's 2-0 at Florida. They beat the Gators twice. That's the same Gator team that swept FSU and swept Miami and swept Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
JU swept that team. Think about that for a second. By the way, UNF, I was going to ask Joe this, but he probably doesn't want to start thinking about Tuesday when he's got 3 big games, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. UNF plays in Gainesville on Tuesday. They might beat the Gators. Sure. I mean, I can promise you this. Nobody in Gainesville is thinking that one's a gimme. I assure you of that. After you just lost your only 2 you played at JU, a team that UNF rolled in 3 games. Now, it'll be interesting to see how this series goes. Someone asked me today, how do you think it's going to go? It's hard to get a handle on it. Like Joe said, very, very humbly, I said, tell me how'd you blow them out so bad the first time? He said, listen, a lot of time when you get them, they got us when we were red hot and they were struggling. Now they're red hot, we're not quite as hot. So that may affect the game. So it's going to be hard. But I will tell you, they're going to have great crowds all weekend. I hope the weather holds up. It's going to hold up tonight. And I think the good thing is you and I looked at the weather. It looks like it's going to pour midday tomorrow. It could blow through before they play tomorrow night at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, and hopefully that's the case. And I didn't realize what a gigantic advantage the 1 seed gets.
I didn't either.
But boy, Joe did a great job of articulating that for us. So yeah, if UNF, who's got a 3-game lead, so really they probably only need to get one of these games this weekend, you would think, to feel good about it.
Very good. That's a great point.
I know they're not thinking that way.
And they play next weekend. They have more series left. But you're right. Yeah. That's a very good point.
But, boy, what an advantage to go straight to Thursday and not have to, battle through. Either one, the 1 seed's going to be either UNF or JU.
Yeah, and correct.
And UNF obviously has a massive edge.
And to your point,
full game
if UNF even won 1, they leave here with a 2-game lead, and then they play at Queens, who JU just swept, and then they play West Georgia. So UNF's probably going to win those 2 series. So they're well. And I didn't realize that either. He told us that the double bye you get if you're the number 1 seed in either division. Look, that's a big deal in any sport. But in baseball, where you can only use your pitcher once every 4 or 5 days, it's a really big deal.
Yes.
Because by the time you play, the other guys.
They're gassed.
Their one's burned. Their 1 and 2 are burned.
Yeah.
And you got your 1. Again, baseball's funny. You never know, but you got your 1 and their guys are burned. So no, it is absolutely a big deal. All right, a couple football thoughts before we move forward. We touched on it a minute ago. I'm going to start with Georgia. They've earned that. They're the best. I think Georgia. And by the way, I have not had a chance to say this on the air, but I'm going to bring him on next week to talk about it a little bit. My buddy Jeff Dantzler, who is a fantastic broadcaster. Jeff came into the business in 1988 while I was covering the Bulldogs, and I kind of got him involved a little bit, and we've stayed really good friends since. He's a fantastic play-by-play guy. became close friends with Larry Munson in Larry's last years. Larry kind of took him under his wing. Larry passed away, and Scott Howard now, for the last 15 years or so, has been the Georgia play-by-play guy. And Scott does a good job. I've always thought Jeff's a better play-by-play guy, and that's no knock on Scott. It's just my opinion. I'm biased because he's a friend of mine. Meanwhile, Scott is called football and basketball, and Jeff's called everything else. Women's basketball, baseball, all the other sports. Softball, all of it. Well, Georgia announced last weekend, I think you and I were doing the show when the story moved, and I texted Jeff right after, that they made a change in the football booth. Eric Zier did it with Scott for a while, but he wasn't doing it last year. Somebody else did color last year. But they've made a change, and I think John Stinchcomb is going to be the color guy, but Jeff Dantzler is going to be the play-by-play voice of Georgia football. You can't imagine how important that is to him. He grew up a dog. Nobody loves the Bulldogs. Well, you know that.
Oh, yeah.
More than Jeff, and I am thrilled for my friend Jeff Dantzler, the play-by-play voice, the same chair that his idol Larry Munson sat in. I am so excited, and he will be fantastic calling those games.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun, and to get his insights.
Yeah,
I look forward to.
That's right.
I mean, they got Gunnar Stockton back,
yeah,
and they're going to be
loaded
on both sides of the ball. So it should be a fantastic year. I know everybody wants to give Texas the crown, but if I was picking the SEC champion today, I'm taking the Georgia Bulldogs.
So am I, and I am not convinced that Arch Manning will be a better college quarterback next year than Gunnar Stockton. He's a way better pro prospect, and he might be a great pro. I'm not convinced when next year comes to a close that he will have been better than Gunnar. I'm not as a college quarterback. So we'll see. So Georgia immensely confident for all the reasons. Miami. If you're a Miami fan, where's your head right now? You're a Miami fan.
I think you're back to the swagger. I mean, I think you just played for the national title, and yeah, you're losing some key guys, but you're well funded, so they've done a great job in the portal, particularly at the quarterback position, bringing in Darian Mensah, who we already know can play at a really high level. So you wouldn't think. There's always the chance that new setting, it doesn't go as well, but I'd say that's a low probability. And Mario Cristobal has done a great job of prioritizing building the trenches through high school recruiting. So there's more of a variable to Miami than there is Georgia. But I still think compared to the other, teams that finished in the top 25 last year, I think Miami's variable is smaller than the majority of those teams. I would be stunned if Miami is not back in the playoff and hopefully for them, this will be the year they can finally win that ACC title.
And the way fans feel, it's just the topic that where's the fans' head. I think you're exactly right. Very confident I got the right guy, confident my guy can do it. I would think there's some trepidation on having to be a school that changes its quarterback every year. For what it's worth, Georgia, Texas, and Ohio State are bringing back their quarterback. There is something to being the team that has to keep changing its quarterback when a lot of other good – Michigan's bringing back its quarterback. When a lot of other good programs have the same quarterback they've had. Now, look, Alabama's changing. LSU's changing. Florida's changing. There's a lot of schools that are changing too, but South Carolina brings back their quarterback. Georgia, Texas, Oklahoma, Ohio State. So we'll see. If I'm Miami, I've earned the right to have a little swagger. That's your point. Yeah, the topic is the fan. You've earned the right. Gator fans. Where's the Gator fan right now about his expectations for this Florida football team?
I think Gator fans, and I count myself in this, are probably too optimistic. For their own good, just because of it's a new coach and you don't really have much of a track record with Sumrall at big time programs. He did great at Troy and Tulane, but this is a different animal. But everything has been so wonderful with him so far. He's passed every test that has been put in front of him. But obviously none of that matters until you get to the fall and it's wins and losses. But I think Florida fans are incredibly excited for this new era. And again, I'll say this, Sumrall put it on the offensive line after spring. He said, our offensive line has to have a great summer for us to have a chance. Well, that is the one unit, I think, for any football team. You want the offensive line to feel that. Of all the positions in football, if you put a challenge on a position group, the offensive line is far and away the best one because they're hardworking. They're smart. This is to a man. This isn't just Florida's offensive line. This is offensive linemen in general. So if you put it on that group to say, look, guys, it's on you because we've got everything else. We've got the defense. We've got the skill. We will see about the quarterbacks, but they at least have two guys that seem like it. One of those two is going to be the answer. You would think that there's more of a chance that one of those two guys is going to be a good college quarterback than that both of them aren't going to be able to get it done. And so I like the fact that it's on the Gators offensive line, because offensive linemen respond as a collective, particularly with a great coach like Phil Trotwine.
I think here's where Gator fan is, and I'm like you, I'll put myself in the loop when I say about this. Over the moon excited about the energy in the program and the momentum in the program. The point you've made all along, they're happiest that Billy Napier's not there. I don't mean to be mean, but they're happiest now that Billy Napier's not the guy anymore, and that there's a momentum. There's a guy with way more energy, way more charisma. And I think the energy and charisma in Florida's, I've been saying this, they've done a wonderful job of getting him out there. Man, he's done every interview. He's been on every podcast. He's been on every radio, TV show. And that's smart because it generates more of that energy. So I think fans are thrilled about that. I think fans also know that there are some pieces. The wide receiver room, the linebacker room, maybe the front four, that there's some pieces. I think people know that. So that allows you to get excited. The whole point of the offseason is to be excited. That's what the fun is. I think if you think deeper, there is some trepidation. You really don't know how the quarterbacks will play. And John Sumrall's never been a head coach against the teams he's going to have to be a head coach against. So, but I'll allow myself to worry about that later. There's an energy and an excitement that they haven't had in a long time. Finally, quickly, FSU. Look, everyone wants – you don't ever want to say, we're going to suck. No one wants to say – you want to try and find – part of being a college football fan is trying to find some what-if excitement. What-if excitement makes the summer fun. It's hard to find that if you're FSU. I almost think that when Mike Dorvell is fired, and my expectation is that'll be this year, then they can start feeling next year with whoever their guy is, what Florida fans feel now. But for now – where do you find a little bit of excitement?
It really just feels like they're playing out the string, which is so it's
from the outside looking in.
I know that anybody of the teams that we cover would be in that situation where it almost feels like that the administration at Florida State has simply punted on the season and said, well, we can't fire the guy, we can't buy him out, so we're stuck with him. But, I mean, there doesn't seem to be really any money in the program. It didn't seem like they did that great in terms of, you would have thought with how dire it is that they would have said, we're going to spend $40 million on our football roster, and we're going to go get Mensa, and we're going to go get, 5, 6 elite players on both sides of the ball. It almost seemed like they were like, don't spend anything.
Right.
Let's save it for the next guy, and let's just take our lumps, which is, you just don't normally see full rebuilds in college football.
Yeah.
It almost seems like FSU's taking the approach to the Miami Dolphins, who are like, well, we know this season's just a lost cause, but we've got to tear it down to build it up for 27 and beyond.
Yeah, if I'm a fan, though, if I'm a fan, how am I going to try and find the excitement? I think here's what I'm going to tell myself, because I got to find something. I'm going to say, okay, we have 2-3 pretty good receivers. Dansby's a good receiver, and Deuce Robinson's a very good receiver. They got one of the best transfer running backs in the portal. I'm going to hope this guy, Ashton Daniels, there's something there. He just has no one's unlocked it. He's obviously a very good athlete. He has thrown. He's played a lot of college. He's played more college football than some guys. I'm going to hope that the ACC comes back to being the ACC. That my hope is, if I'm an FSU fan, look, we're probably firing our coach and going 500 or worse. But since I'm trying to find some excitement, that's my job. As a fan, I'm going to say maybe someone's going to unlock something in this very athletic quarterback that just has. He did play at Auburn. Maybe that we do have some skill outside. And I know in my heart of hearts, the ACC still pretty much sucks. So if we find something, anything at all, maybe we find some momentum. But it's a reach. But again, if you're a fan and it's the summer, you got to find something.
That's what you got to do.
We'll see. We'll take a break. We will wrap the program live from UNF after this.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
This is Brent Musburger's VSIN Action Update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
As Major League Baseball moves into the month of May, the LA Dodgers remaining the betting favorite to capture the World Series for the third straight year. Los Angeles is plus 180, while the New York Yankees are the best bet out of the American League. They're on top of the AL East. They're plus 700. The Atlanta Braves have the best record in baseball. They're plus 1,100 to win the World Series in the first year under new manager Walt Weiss. The Seattle Mariners are plus 1,300. The Detroit Tigers plus 1,800. The Cubs are plus 1,900. The Yankees are plus 270 to capture the American League pennant. The Dodgers minus 110 to win the National League pennant.
Progressive helping veterans drive their lives forward. More info, KeysOfProgress.com.
I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010 XL.
Alert! Alert!
Termite swarms are active right now in Jacksonville, and once they get inside, damage can happen fast. Termites don't knock, they silently attack the structure of your home, leaving behind costly repairs and long-term headaches. Protect what you've worked hard for with the proven protection homeowners trust. Terminix with advanced termite treatment and prevention solutions. Visit Terminix.com and schedule your free termite inspection today.
Spring means wings. That's right. The Spring Wing Fest is happening right now at Bono's Barbecue. Frank Frangie here. Bono's wings are the best around, and now they've got 2 new flavors, garlic, parm, and lemon pepper. Head to Bono's today and get 6 wings and a side for $10.99 or a 10-wing basket for just $15.99. But hurry, the deal ends June 30th. To find the Bono's near you, head to bonosbarbq.com. That's bonosbarbq.com. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
1010XL Draft Profiles are built by Premier Outdoor Inc., a visionary of hardscapes and aquatics.
Jacksonville made 10 selections in this year's draft. Their first choice came in round 2 at number 56. Tight end Nate Boerkircher of Texas A&M. At age 24, he's the oldest player picked to wear teal. Their second selection was also an Aggie. Defensive tackle Albert Regis, taken in round 3. In all, Duval got 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, and 2 defensive ends.
La playa is Spanish for the beach. If you can't remember that, the word Corona also works. Corona, La playa awaits.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
When you hear Florida Gators baseball on 1010XL, it's brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, Custom Windows and Doors, Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville, and by the personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah.
Looking for an exciting, fun-filled evening your whole group can enjoy? Discover the thrill of indoor football. Fast-paced, action-packed, and full of family fun. Be there as your Sharks take on the New Mexico Chupacabra Saturday, May 2nd at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Kickoff, 7 o'clock. Don't miss the action-packed halftime performance by Showtime USA. Ask about our family 4-packs. 4 tickets and $50 in food vouchers, all for only $100. To purchase tickets, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700. It's Education Appreciation Night, presented by the University of North Florida. All teachers, administrators, and school staff get our special buy one, get one free ticket deal. Join us on the field after the game for our free autograph session, sponsored by Flight Adventure Park. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours today at 621-0700. That's 621-0700. Sharks football, where memories are made.
Go Sharks! Miller Electric Company is looking for electricians with all levels of experience to join their team in Jacksonville. With over 98 years of industry leadership, Miller Electric offers unmatched career growth and a legacy of excellence. If interested in working as a commercial electrician, don't miss the hiring event on Thursday, May 28th from 4 to 7. All electricians are IBEW members and state licensure is helpful but not required. Register now at millercareers.com/1010XL. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnick Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnick Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
All right, Hayes, I'm not happy right now. Do you know that?
What happened?
I need some energy, positive energy.
Yeah.
Have you seen Hacker's tweet?
I have not. What do we have?
I'm going to read this post before I say hello to Hacker. Really looking forward to the feeling of getting kicked below the belt by a mule after Detroit. I'm sure beats us in heartbreaking fashion tonight. Absolutely no confidence. Hacker, what are we doing? Hacker, I need energy from you.
Faith.
I need excitement. Hacker, what are you doing?
So I'll rewind the clock back to 2010. I was 26 years old. I was actually producing your show at the time.
Yeah.
That's the last time the Magic have gotten out of the first round of the playoffs. Okay. So 16 years of ineptitude, of heartbreak. And I just know what's going to happen at 9:30 tonight. I almost want to puke already.
You can't want to puke yet. Puke then. I don't like it. Hayes, I don't like it. I don't like what I'm dealing with right now. I thought you better.
You're not speaking to the team before the game.
I probably should. Yeah.
God Almighty, what are we doing here? I mean, we got a big playoff game tonight. It's in the arena or whatever they call it now. Okay.
It's the Kia Center, Frank. The Kia Center.
Hayes, we're in the Kia Center tonight.
I like the Magic by 29.
Yeah, I mean, what are we doing, Hacker? I mean, I'm not happy about this development at all. Is what I'm not.
Well, I appreciate the positive vibes, but think of me when Duncan Robinson hits a back-breaking three with 8.7 seconds to go.
I'm going to think of you when Nick Anderson steals the ball from MJ. That's what I'm going to say. By the way, Hacker, you know I was at that game, right?
Were you? That's awesome.
Did you know that? The Nick Anderson steal the ball from MJ? I was at that game.
That's awesome.
I was at that game. So I got that going for me, Hackers. I'm not happy with your lack.
Well, you're a big Orlando Magic fan. When people think of the Orlando Magic, they think of Frank Frangie.
Doggone right they do. Especially, here's what I will say, Hayes. Don't let Jeff Turner open from the corner tonight. Right. Don't do that. Dennis Scott gets hot, okay? Yeah. So there's that. All right, joking aside, you don't think they're going to win because of the mojo or because of Wagner or what?
Wagner's a big one. I mean, Boerkircher had 45 in a losing effort. I just don't see him doing that again. And there is something to the mojo. I mean, you watch it tonight. I mean, those players and that organization, this fan base, if it starts going south, I do think the last 16 years matter. Certainly it's going to matter the fan base and the energy in that arena. We've been here a lot of times over the last decade and a half to have our heart ripped out in the postseason.
All right, fair enough. Fair. You know better than us, obviously. So what's coming up on the program tonight other than your sadness?
Yeah, I'm going to be breathing heavily into a paper bag starting at about 7 o'clock when Game 6 tips off. In between that, we're going to talk a lot of Jaguar draft reaction. OTAs begins later this month. In fact, obviously, you guys know this. We got OTAs next month, OTAs and minicamp, and then we're into training camp in July. So Steve Palazzolo of the Check the Mic podcast is going to join me. Also, Emery Hunt of Football Game Plan and CBS Sports HQ. So we got a lot to do tonight till 8 o'clock.
And then on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you're going to sit in with me, and we'll have a lot of fun as we talk about the Magic going to the second round by then, right?
That will be an emotional moment if we're talking about that, Frank, yes.
Hank, thanks, buddy. We appreciate that.
Thanks, guys.
Second, as he goes into he is Hacker After Dark is before dark. You got vacation next week. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. It's going to be fun, and I'll see you guys, I guess, at Rookie Minicamp.
Yeah, Hacker's going to stick around with for 3 days with me, and then Ryan O'Haller in the last 2 days of the week, so we're looking forward to it. You enjoy your vacation. You have earned it. RJ, great work as always. Thanks for filling in. We appreciate that. JJ will be back next week. Don't go anywhere. Hacker is next. This is 1010XL and 92.